Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Heartist podcast. In this episode, I want to give you a little introduction to a different format than what you've already heard. Basically, going to use two different formats is the idea as of now. So we basically are going to have the full length, like you've already heard. The full lengths will be between 30 to maybe up to 60 minutes long. They will have a full production, editing, there'll be a lot more creativity involved as far as, what we do with the humor and the seriousness, the music, all of it. I don't know, but definitely a lot more creativity. In this episode, or these, what we're going to call mini episodes, they're only going to be about 10, 15 minutes long. A lot more raw, very little production. If any, and very minimal editing. So yeah, that's pretty much the difference between the two. I'll dive a lot more into specific topics in the full length episodes also, whereas these minis are going to be just kind of a perspective. I would say they're a perspective on the topics that are on my mind at the time. And, trying to do these weekly, there'll be different things that are going on in my life. So there'll basically be a perspective on topics that are revolving around my life. Me being a dad, a small business owner, creativity, gardening, indoors and outdoors, just my love of plants, whiskey, sports, my therapy. I'll touch on my spirituality. Some of the growth, get into that, my personal growth and where I'm at, how I deal with my grief daily. Sometimes it's weekly, but I'll dive into that a little bit from time to time. One of my biggest things is finding balance every day. That is one of my biggest challenges. I'll definitely touch on that from time to time. Just basically giving an inside perspective of me, hoping that it adds to your perspective of life. Looking and diving into someone who's being very transparent, at the same time being very authentic. You'll be able to gain a new perspective that maybe you didn't have before. And again, I'm sure I've touched on some of these things already in the first episode. I don't exactly remember. But yeah, the perspective thing has become very important to me along my, whatever you want to call it, journey, awakening, just me finding myself, becoming more comfortable, becoming happier through really listening to a lot of other people's stories, people that were successful, and gaining a new perspective on life, not feeling alone when, you hear someone else's story and it's, oh, damn, I can relate to that. That has always been a big deal for me too. So yeah, I guess I'm just hoping that that's what this does, is helps other people out, or helps you out with a new perspective. And one of the biggest benefits of this, these little minis, doing these weekly, maybe even more than weekly, maybe, twice a week or something. I don't know how this turns out again. But as far as it ends up being a form of therapy for me, being able to get this stuff out, it helps me out significantly. So yeah, it's very beneficial for me in a couple ways, and hopefully beneficial for you as well. Finding yourself kind of, if you're going through the same journey as I am, or maybe just starting it, or you already have, more than likely that's why you're listening to this podcast, is we have those similarities there. Finding yourself and being able to be yourself, understanding all the aspects of you, good or bad, strengths, weaknesses, the light, the dark, the whole thing, and putting it together. Finding that balance every single day it puts you in that flow, that feel-good energy. It's right there and then all of a sudden good things start to happen, abundance starts to happen, and things start to come to you more easily because you're being who you're supposed to be. You're not attracting the wrong partners anymore. The shitty relationships, your job, and all those things start to change, and you start to become happy within the work that you do on a daily basis, the way you earn your living, and all of it, becoming a parent, being a better parent, a friend, a brother, a sister, all those things. So, if you're become happy and you become comfortable with who you are, and you just live your life happy, that's honestly just one less asshole. So, yeah, I don't know. That's pretty much it. I just wanted to give you an idea on what these little mini episodes are going to be going forward, and just another glimpse into how this podcast is going to play out. I promise it will be a lot more fun than, this first couple episodes here. A lot more deeper perspective on some interesting topics. And maybe at some point have a way for us to interact together and do these podcasts. I also plan on, having some interviews along the way with people that impact my life. And yeah, so we'll just go from there. Thanks again for listening. I really appreciate it. And thanks again for being my therapist. Talk to you guys later. If you'd like to learn more about me and my experiences, follow @AwakenHeartist on Instagram or visit the website awakenheartist.com.